Hello and welcome to another stream. I messed up the opening because I'm right now so focused on the screen if my mic is working. So let me start one more time. Welcome to Asylum Atelier. Welcome to our painting, actually creative discourse, but painting for me because my way to create or being involved, it's through the painting. So welcome to a creative discourse / painting discourse. And also welcome to my studio. I'm again very happy and very pleased to see you guys here. We already started a little discussion about being tired and all the problems that are happening. So please, if you have something to offload because of difficulties, this is the great place to do so. I'm just the only one thing that I'm asking you to be polite, because sometimes when I'm offloading all my stress, like curse words can go out, and I would prefer if we restrain of using them. So that's that. That's a part of the painting. That's part of the life. I had to postpone the stream today because of other projects that I have to finish, and everybody's pushing me to finish them before I leave, because no one knows what's going to happen after I'm on that working trip. So it's a little hectic. So I understand that it's a part of the process. It's a part of the being involved in multiple projects simultaneously, and then also when you jump into a new kind of another unexpected endeavor, it can actually get pretty hectic. So, but that's not something that cannot be solved. Yesterday, I actually talked about this a little bit more in terms of trying to see that large problem as a bunch of smaller ones that then we can actually solve step by step, day by day, and that kind of ease up the pressure that I have usually. And then there's something that really helps. It's difficult to just say and then kind of understand what that means. It's because it's based on experience, and my experience tells me that something that I cannot control, I shouldn't be worried about. But like I said, that comes only from the experience. I can tell you this like 100 times. We can have a discussions. We can have a philosophical thoughts about this. This works only as your own experience. As far as I know, there was never. I didn't learn this, and I'm still getting nervous about stuff that I can't really control, only because so many things that, especially when it comes to painting, I have under control. So I feel that pressure of, oh, I can control everything here. I can control everything in this space or this universe that I created here. And it's difficult then to switch to the reality where things are actually happening, whether you want to or you don't want to. It doesn't really matter. It's just I think it was that very famous astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson. I hope I'm not butchering his name and his title, official title, or his profession actually rather. I think he mentioned that universe has no obligation to make sense to you. So that's what's up. Sometimes, as we started with DM7, the conversation, sometimes you think that you measured it 70, 100 times and it's 30.6, but actually in reality it's 36. It's crazy. It happens. And it happens more often than you might think, actually, with my own act. And I've been doing this for a while. And framing, it's really part of a stressful situation. Not only from the standpoint of, oh, I'm going to put, I need to make the official measure. The moment the painting is in the frame, it has completely different vibe. It is like when you. Like when you put, right now we don't do that anymore. It's like a similar thing like when you put the letter into mailbox, right? And it's there. It's getting out. It's getting ready to be shipped. You can't really, well, physically you could probably tear that mailbox and pick it up. But as far as I'm concerned, when you put something into a post box, it's officially then Postoffice is taking responsibility for that. So I don't think that you can actually tear up and open that mailbox. But that I don't know the legal things, but trust me, sometimes I feel, especially with the emails, that it should be a reverse button. That no, there's a mistake. I just want to take it back. Doesn't work with emails. That's a feature that I probably hate the most about emails. That there are certain emails that I would prefer that they have never been sent, and this goes the same way. I received some of the emails that you would you would prefer never open, right, and read. So we have all this experience. This is not only the universe. It's not singling you out. It's just a process. And it's part of that. It's part of that awesome experience to be alive. I believe. Well, I'm trying to lie to myself and convince myself that that's what's up. Otherwise, I should probably be hospitalized long time ago. Same as the rest of the population, I believe, because the things that are happening around sometimes really seem. Yeah, crazy, right? Remember we talked about the affiliate program, and that stream. During that stream, I received that affiliate email. We talked about the Gandalf, and Gandalf joined the stream, which was really, how is this all possible? So it is, and it's fun. It's fun. So yeah, you will have to find out and create some other way how to beautifully frame your painting, and that's something that we started the discussion yesterday, which is with that Japanese art form that I again blanking out the name of, as you actually DM predicted that I won't be able to remember it by tomorrow. It's really I don't know. It's one of those things that some of the words. In English or like foreign words, they're kind of easy to remember in my head, and some they are completely just. I would have to probably tattoo that on my forehead, and I wouldn't remember that either. So that's just a quick introduction about what's up and what's happening. And you guys are Kintsugi. Thank you, DM. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it correctly. But just you guys, what we're speaking about, it's a special old Japanese tradition that is kind of it's like a restoring broken vessels or broken teapot, or I don't know how to. Or whatever it's dear to you, and if it's broken, it can be glued together. And instead of trying to polish it and hide all the mistakes and all the cracks that are there, they're actually accentuating them, because it's part of that part of the process, part of the living of that or existing in this space of that object. So they're accentuating it to remind us that not everything is perfect, and sometimes things can get bad, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's wrong or we should just discard it or throw it away. There is always a creative solution to a problem, and we should think about that way. So for those of you who are interested, it's called kintsugi. Yeah, know about it. It's about fixing pottery. Yes, it's about fixing pottery. In Japan, launched Oreo kintsugi. I didn't even know to repair broken Oreos with the white cream tube. Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. See, and this is the beauty of these traditions and why they're so important for us, because they are such a great tool to explore and apply it into new things. I believe that you mean Oreo cookies, right? And I don't want to do any ads to the Oreos, but it's a great idea. It's a great marketing strategy. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. So see, like you know it because of the cookies. I know it because I was actually researching different schools and different places to study traditional Japanese calligraphy and the brushwork that they have, because I really enjoy that technique, and I had a chance to spend sometimes with the master that was actually dedicated, that he dedicated his whole life, or most of his life rather, to this craft. But he was not Japanese, he was a Chinese, and he showed me things that I was not even aware that they exist, and how much usage, or how many different things you can get from one brush. So it was amazing. So I realized that I'm not even reaching a 10% the potential of what brush can do with the pigment on, under the right circumstances. Of course, it's not a random thing. So you have to understand the brush. You have to understand the bristles that you have there, the handle, the amount of liquid for them specifically. And the ink and the paper and so on and so forth. So much to explore. So it's a whole nother category, and that's something that I was really interested in. And as we were talking and continuing the discussion, he actually, we had a multiple. Not even like, it was more philosophical, and that's what happens on that on the next level, I would say, not higher, but higher than mine. On that next level. Conversations are not about how to draw an eye, but about how that eye will express what you want to, or how to communicate with the picture. So there was a discussion about these mistakes and how important it is to actually embrace them, because they're part of the life. No one was ever born smart, educated, and fully developed. That's a part of that. Those mistakes, and we went all the way to actual, like, a physical properties. When I say physical, I mean anatomical. When you observe a little kids, like really small ones, when they're first starting to actually walk, they always hit their head on the thing, and we just started the discussion out of nowhere. And then actually the reason is, according to science, and again, this might be not necessarily a correct thing. There might be it might be, I don't want to say hoax, but it might be just a preliminary analysis of this. But supposedly it is because we as a kid are learning to understand the distances, because we are not aware that we have something above our eyes. So we don't understand that if it goes away from our, we cannot put together that if we don't see it, it still exists and it can hit us into the head. So these are the little mistakes that you have to go through to understand that, oh wait, I have still some little, actually the important part of the body, very, very top head, which is the cranium part, that's still above my horizon line, or actually the we can call it the horizon line because it's eye level. That's what I was trying to say. So that's kind of a funny thing. That's what's up. So. Yeah, Cookie, it looks so easy, but it's so hard. Yeah, it is. I can tell that it's hard, because you really have to work with those cracks, and it's just, it's a craft, and it is a art on its own, right? So it's art of a mistake, if you wish. So yeah, all the mistakes, they have meaning. All the mistakes that they are there for a reason. And in the words of astrophysicist Neil deGrasse Tyson, the universe is in no obligation to make sense to you. Like literally no obligation, because the universe was here a long time before we even show up, or I show up, and it's going to be a long time after that. Oh, if you believe in the universe, that's and if you believe that we are part of the art, artificial reality, then that's cool as well. I don't know. I haven't been behind this world, so I can't tell. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know if it does, but it should. It should. Hopefully, it should. Let me just quickly set up so I don't waste your time, because we're already behind with the schedule, due to, again, not necessarily my tardiness, but the lot of moving parts right now that they are in motion simultaneously for me, and I'm trying to really finish all the projects and make sure that everybody is satisfied with the work. I've done. And the bigger problem is that not that they are satisfied, I'm sometimes not satisfied, which creates a longer discussions and delays and so on and so forth. Let me just set up this. I'm going to be continuing with that right side, and I mentioned that we're going to talk about a little bit about the color and the light and how important it is. And we started the discussion a little bit in our Discord session in Creative Discord channel. Rather, this is going to be difficult. There's going to be tongue twister there. I think I'll just chill for a change. I am already dead from all the admin gallery work I had to do. Definitely, you should definitely just chill and enjoy the show and maybe just even relax completely with a cup of tea or a cup of coffee. Choice is yours, and enjoy my struggle for a change. There is one more thing that actually happened. I was asked to, and this is again NDA, non-disclosure agreement, but I was asked to help with the project last minute. And Saturday probably I will be traveling outside of a city to help with some project to a different non-profit organization, and as a volunteer, and that means that a stream might not happen on Saturday. I'm not sure if it's going to happen. They have to figure it out, the certain things, before I can actually help them. But it involves a painting and actually doesn't really matter. I can't really go into that. So it might be. But what I could do, I might ask them to do a time lapse of what we're doing, and then maybe just release it so you guys can see what I do when I'm not in the studio. But I don't know if they allow me to do that because of the NDA. So let's see it. I won't chill. I will be analyzing everything. Awesome. Let's go for it. Let's analyze, reanalyze, overanalyze over everything. I'm totally cool with that. Then I can mentally prepare to hang up my artwork soon. Cool if they permit it. It would be cool if they permit it, but I'm not sure. It's all these projects that I'm involved lately are NDA. And that's going to happen if you work for businesses, because they want to protect their assets and so on and so forth. So it's kind of getting more and more energy consuming, but it's something that is keeping my other projects running, so I can do and paint whatever I choose. Okay, I'll be a bit busy on Saturday anyway, from 14:45 gallery opening at that time. Yeah. I just like I said, it is. What I'm thinking is actually, if they allow me to take my, maybe I could take my prepared traveling kit, set it up, and see if it works. The only problem is that since it's like a remote area. Or not necessarily remote, but we have these mountainous region, and the internet is not really right there on those speeds that we need for a direct stream. So that's the only problem that I see that might be a next when it comes to streaming. So, but I think that we're good. Anyway. Yeah, that's understandable. That's what's up. I can't really do anything with that. So let me just get back to painting. And if you have, like you said, if you have any other questions, and what I'm trying to do, there is an announcement section or announcement channel or text channel in the Discord. I might actually do a separate one for scheduling that, where I will post only what's happening with the schedule, so you can get a better idea about what's up. For those of you who are interested. So let's see. Tea is really good today. It's a white puer and I'm really, really enjoying it. So I'm gonna do one glove today because yesterday I enjoyed painting with fingers so much. So it's going to be one glove today, but a full commitment. Just time lapse it if they allow. But yeah, we get it. Too bad we can't paint a good internet. Yeah, I wish I could paint myself a good internet, but ain't happening. I should be able to then paint myself other things as well, like a car, you know. I wish that's how it works. That oh, I need a car, I can just paint it. So it's pretty funny, actually. I like that DM7, that the idea that I would be able to paint a better internet for myself. Maybe internet, it's no obligation to make sense to me. Maybe that's another universal truth. Internet has no obligation to make sense to me. Which would actually explain a lot. So I'm thinking really to see what's up with these figures right now, because this might be one of the last days working on this painting here before I departure. There's going to be still continuing. Oh, plus remember that tomorrow our Bad Painting Friday also might be postponed because at 11 there's a group of people that are just going to go to come to a studio to check up on this painting and see if they're interested in it. So that's just a quick reminder, but I will also post it on a Discord later today. So yesterday I went to gallery opening, by the way, pretty cool. I was really excited. It was really interesting, how would I imagine a postmodern impressionism, something like that, or modern impressionism, perhaps. So, or I would even, maybe I would go even further and I would call it like a, even though it's not, even though it was painted traditionally, but it had that a digital feel to it. So maybe it would be digital impressionism. Is that even a thing? I don't know. And if it isn't, it is now. So it's like a landscapes, but they are a little bit more modern, from the kind of a almost like a industrial colors and neons, a kind of a impressionism. I don't know. It's hard to describe. I think of that as a modern or postmodern rather. Now that sounds interesting. Yeah, it was. The only thing is, it was a small venue. It was maybe a room the size of this one, and there was what, 2, 4, 8, maybe like 12, 11 paintings. So it wasn't like a huge. The gallery wasn't big either. It's more like about. It's more like a little bit more. What would be the word? What's the? I'm just trying to think. It's more like a simply smaller venue. I don't know. It's just a. Don't even listen to me. My brain is not braining today for some reason. Actually, well, yesterday either. Like a whole, I don't know. For a long time, my brain cannot start braining, but I'm trying to fight it. Okay, so yesterday I was working on that arm, or hand actually, and I can immediately, I saw it today early morning when I came. As I expected, or as I predicted, not that I would be a Nostradamus or anything like that. I have a own experience with this setup and this type of painting, so I knew that as the pigments are start to kind of bond together, and ease into a canvas the oils and additives into a pigment, the hand, it starts to actually work a little better with the environment. That's a very, very difficult thing to control if you don't have experience. This is literally something that you know your pigments, you know the way how you apply the pigments, and you know what they're going to do next day. If you see me, like, I don't really put that much oil on the top of a canvas, because every another layer when you're trying to oil it in, right? So it's a more and more oil. That's not necessarily recommended to do all the time, oiling in. Also, you can think of that you should oil in locally, only the place that you're working on, if you must, absolutely must. But I work that kind of approach that I don't like to varnish my painting, so I don't really go with that oiling in, and it's actually painting as it's supposed to be. And then if I need to do something like extreme, perhaps I would add a little bit of a Damar varnish into my pigments, so that's going to stay glossy and kind of shiny. So that's kind of another layer of complexity adding to this kind of a painting. So we have layers, we have saturation, we have values, we have light on the top, we have glazing, we have dry brush, and then also, since it's not varnished, or I'm not varnishing it specially because I want to play with those glossy against matte finish. You can also achieve it, and this is what some people think of that. No, some people, actually not some people. I saw it, or I took it from that idea of a painting with acrylics, like an underpainting instead of oil. Because some artists do acrylic underpainting, right? That means that all of these, like let's say the darks, and I might do the same thing right now when I get to a St. Petersburg, because it will rapidly speed the process of painting. I don't know if I should do it, only because I don't have that much experience with that technique, but it can speed up the process. So most of the things I could be actually, I can get done with acrylic pigments, all the backgrounds and so on and so forth, and then only work with oil on top of it, which is going to give me that glossiness against that, like a different layers or different stages of painting, right? Because creating a sky like this, it's very, very difficult. I'm not aware of the technique that will help me to do this with the layers, because some it's scraped, some it's sanded, some it's just really even cut off with the razor blade, and there is a multiple layers that they kind of overlap each other. That creates that kind of a shimmer, that kind of an atmosphere. I might be able to do a similar thing with acrylics. I'm not sure. We'll test it and we'll see what's going to happen. Gandalf can be neglected. Yeah, I know. I wish I could get to that. Just a second, I just got lost in a... This sounds interesting. My way changes now and then. It depends on what I am looking for, but I do like it shiny. Yeah, that would be interesting. I really need to try acrylics sometimes. They're sitting on my table collecting dust at the moment. That's what they used to do. That's what they used to do in my head for me, that I don't need to use acrylic. But right now I am just, since we tested it, and it's that idea of, if you can manage to paint oil, then everything else, the only more difficult thing that mastering oils, I think, a technique, would be mastering a painting into wet plaster, which it's called fresco. So that would be probably, because you have to have a perfect temperature, something I think that Italian, they call it a giornata. And again, I'm butchering all these names and all these foreign words, but I'm butchering English language anyway, so probably who cares. at this point. So if you are not used to my English language and how I butcher certain words, you're not gonna like the rest of my Italian language, because it's kind of weak when it comes to this. But I think it's called giornata, and it means that they used to do frescoes. It had to be a specific weather. So the plaster, when you apply it on the wall, you have to paint into it while it's still damp or wet. There's a specific, and the giornata means there is I think it's a time of a day when the sun is, and the temperatures and the humidity, it's in the right spot. Because if you don't have that, the plaster is not going to be absorbent enough, or it's going to be over absorbent. There's just so much building stuff that it's I butcher everything anyway, so all is good. Okay, all right. Well, I got that joke, DM. This is pretty funny, man. You should stop making me laugh like this, because people are gonna think that I'm a bad person. But I understand. It's so funny. I didn't realize that it had to be done that way. Very interesting. It had to long time ago. Right now we can, because right now we have electricity. I can create a perfect temperature, perfect humidity and everything for myself. I can turn on the lights that are not going to create a heat, right? So that much heat as a candles or whatever they used before. So, and also when you think about the frescoes, Michelangelo is so important when it comes to frescoes, because and I have goosebumps. Michelangelo, you know. How can you not get goosebumps when you talk about Michelangelo? And the important part is that since he was a sculptor primarily, that was his trade, and he's actually not a painter at all. And the proof is, if I ask you what other paintings besides frescoes in the Sistine Chapel you know of Michelangelo, probably you're gonna have to admit that you know none. And it's not, I am not aware, but he has a lot of drawings, and he was actually even against painting. He didn't like to do it. He didn't want to do it. He was forced to do that Sistine Chapel, actually. He was forced by Pope. I think that there was a lot of aggression, and he even flee from Rome because of that. It was a whole kind of issue with him and painting. There was a big competition that he supposedly won, he against Leonardo da Vinci, and since Da Vinci was painter but primarily inventor, Da Vinci was inventing some kind of a different ways how to apply, and he was adding a wax into the frescoes to create more of the texture and so on and so forth. So, and they were supposedly painting, it was destroyed, but they were painting walls against each other. Like there was one wall and another wall in like a big hall, and Leonardo painted one side and Da Vinci painted another side. The only thing that we have left, it's a copy of a drawing or sketch. That's the one with the horses that they look like in the fight. It was a fighting scene. But anyway, I wanted to get into that. Actually, Michelangelo invented, because before Michelangelo, frescoes were done the old method. Then they actually created a sketch, and then they on the sketch they projected, not with the projector, but they actually draw a grid, and then they scale it up with the grid, and then they went and they painted window by or square by square. And it was actually showing, because there was a plaster attachment and so on and so forth, and Michelangelo really hated it because it broke the rhythms of the figures. So what he did, because of his and I have a goosebumps again, because he's a sculptor, he, instead of creating this grid, he actually sculpted in the fresco the whole figure and painted it at once, right? Or sections, right? So he would actually sculpt the hand from the shoulder to the fingers exactly as he painted them, right? So when you were looking, the he painted he actually sculpted in the plaster that was on the wall the silhouette, and then he painted that silhouette, and then they put another plaster around, and they color it as a background, right? So that was Michelangelo just going nuts when it comes to this. He actually created even a special scaffolding so they can get up there and do that. There's just so much craftsmanship and ideas and just the sheer scale, and also that particular structure, maybe you might not even like how it looks, but it's so important in terms of there is no limits when you just say that, okay, I want this and I want it to look like this. And if there is no scaffolding, you have to invent the scaffolding. If it's no tools, you have to invent the tools, right? So it's something like we couldn't do more complicated math, so we created algebra. It's just an idea. It's crazy, right? So, or algebra. I think that's how it's called. I remember this from mathematics. I don't want you to get bored with this. Well, that's insane. It is insane. It is insane. And I wouldn't ever call it any other way than it's insane. And in that spirit, that's what we do. That's what we're trying to do here as well in the atelier, because that's something that it's that creative ways to solve the problem, because that's what gives it. Because if you only use the tools the way that they're supposed to be used, then that's not how we actually get where we are. So we started with the Twitch as a game streaming platform, and right now we morphed it and transformed it into something that it's actually helpful for us, which is that kind of idea of a digital shared atelier space, which I'm really happy about. So let's get back to this because I went again off track with Michelangelo, and this is what's going to happen all the time with me, because I really indeed, okay, DM7, cool, indeed, true, very true. So this is something that happens to me all the time. Actually, let's first again look at the whole painting. Or these three paintings as one whole continuous piece, because that's a part of the idea. And I can immediately say that again, the wheel, it's like really bothering me. I can't tell you how much it bothers me, and it's because I am convinced that it's because of the treatment of the grass around it. So if I see something so specific, not painted well, but specific as a wheel, then these brushstrokes suddenly they don't make sense. They look like not like a grass anymore to me visually, but they look like what would be the word? They look like just the stains rather than anything else, because they don't have a form yet. Crazy. I don't know what you mean by crazy, but I'm gonna assume that since this is Asylum Atelier, everything is crazy. All right. I'm thinking, how far could we push it? Yeah, I think that right now the name of the game is to start actually. I think that's what's gonna help. I should start push this figure today, or start pushing it a little bit more, get it more real, not realistic, but a little bit more developed. It's the word that I'm looking for, and maybe make it slightly lighter. And when I say lighter, I don't mean that I'm just going to repaint it with the lighter value. I just want to bring I just want to place the light. Make it third. I just want to create the light. You remember yesterday I talked about how important light is, and the idea that light is actually sitting on the top of the form. rather than just, and let's use this as my desaturation mixture, and I'm gonna squeeze more of the titanium white. And I use titanium white. I think the titanium white is a superior pigment. Only if I can find it, of course. So if I can't find it, there's going to be no painting session today, I guess. Found it. So we're painting. I just wanted to find the excuse not to paint, right? I can't find my my white, my titanium white. That's what used to happen to me a lot when I was younger, actually. Just finding excuses how not to do things, rather than trying to find the ways how to do things. It was way easier in my brain, somehow. If you dare to use that excuse, I'll just start throwing my paints through the screen. Yeah. Well, guys, and you know, you can either join me on this or argue about me. Have you ever? Haven't you? What would be the right question? Do you have a similar experience, rather? Have you ever felt like not doing something and you found like a million ways how to excuse why not to do that? And hope that it somehow will magically teleport you to your place. Yes, unfortunately, I recognize that experience way too well. Yeah, I know. That's why I'm being. And you already know this, that I am. There's no hiding behind anything when it comes to painting. It's just a raw honesty, because that's what it is. And well, we have a bigger issue, and the issue is, where is the yellow ochre? So if I don't, second time, if I don't have a yellow ochre, it's not going to be painting, and the channel, it's gone. Okay, yellow ochre, where are you? There's sienna, there's this, yellow ochre. I have a little bit here still in this tube. Would that be the only yellow ochre I have? Seems like it. Wait, no. It's yellow. Why do I have so many cadmium yellows? Yep, just a little bit of yellow ochre. Okay, we will have to manage. No, found it, okay. Okay, all right. Calm down, hold your horses. Hold your horses, everybody. I found it. I'm in that phase. I've been trying to make digital master copies of sorry, I just the chat moved, and I want to. I'm in the phase. I've been trying to make digital master copy of Suzanne at the tab, and I'm like, I can't fix the chin today, maybe later. Winnie, you're right there. I was looking for that yellow ochre, and trust me, I was hoping not to be able to find it. And I'm just a reminder, we're going to have a quick break in 5 minutes. This should be the break, and we have this set up that since we get that affiliate program running, we're testing the ads. Ads should be every hour, and I set it up a little better this time. It took me almost 2 weeks to actually manage that. But it set it up, so it should also show at a screen for you. This time it should be 3 minutes, and it should be every hour. And at this time, during the breaks, we should reset, look somewhere else, relax a little bit, maybe replenish a tea or liquids. I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna put the "Be right back" sign there. Also for the ones that you subscribe, because I turned off, disabled ads for subscribers. That's why you DM7 couldn't see the ad because they are disabled for disabled. Is that the word, or enabled? Anyway, you don't have to worry about that. But since I told you that there is nothing hidden behind a paywall, we're just going to stop all as a group, and I need to take a little break. It helps just to look at the painting from a different direction. I use a little mirrors. I walk around, relax my eyes, clean the palette, put the fresh pigments on it as well. And that's kind of a rhythm that you should keep in mind. I would recommend you to do actually every half an hour. Same thing that they recommend for a computer. You are staring too much. Your eyes are getting restrained. Is that the word either? I don't know. My brain is not working today. It's just going to get tired, and you can get like a headache and so on and so forth. So that should be also for painting. Also, if you're working with open containers like I do, with all kinds of resins and varnishes and mineral spirits, even odorless are actually hurting you. You just can't smell that you're breathing it. So maybe even leave the room if you use these chemicals. And then we again reconvene after 3 minutes, a little refreshed, and we will continue working on. So that's our regime. That's something that we do. So let's see what's gonna happen. Disabled. Okay, thank you, Vinny. I appreciate it. Disabled. I was close. Disabled. Anyway, wish me good luck. I'll keep. Oh, so you are. It's super rare for me to sub, so that's why I forgot. Anyway, wish me good luck. I'll keep you updated about the gallery. I will trust that you'll be painting while I'm away, because I'll be back to check you out. Okay, I appreciate it. DM7, make sure that you will get everything done. But important part, if you're still listening, hopefully you do, just relax. It's not the end of the world. You're gonna make it. The important part is that your artwork is amazing. So the gallery opening is going to be hit, and I hope that a lot of people will chance to at least see it if they cannot support you with any other way. And I wish I'll be there. I wish I could be there, but like I said multiple times, it's just schedule does not allow me to do that this time. So DM7, good luck with that, and I'll hope to see you back pretty soon. So be cool and stay cool. Thank you for sharing these beautiful paintings of yours on Discord, so I can at least have a little bit of what would be I wanted to say pleasure from viewing it, or being a part of that, such an important part. It's awesome, and I'm looking forward to see the next one live. So I'll see you when you get back. And that takes us to ads. They're going to be here in exactly 5 seconds. So I'm just going to be right back. 3 minutes, and then we paint. See ya. Right. I think we're back. We should be. I only hope. My only hope is that you guys can see also that reminder for those ads. And like I said, this is just a temporary setup. We're testing it. So in case that we don't like it and disturb our workflow, and it's going to be difficult to then get back to, because I know how difficult it is to get back to work. I'll just disable it and as it was before, and we're just gonna go straight painting hours, and we will take a break as we please. So let's see. But that's how I'm used to operate. I'm taking break every hour. I used to actually every 45 minutes, because that's how long I used to keep the model on the stand when I paint from life. So I'm going to be continuing with that. As I said, that I'm going to continue painting and working on it. The hand still looks not necessarily weird, but it's not finished. So what I'm going to focus on, I'm keeping in mind that this is the direction of the arm and the way it goes. It's very similar to this, so I will try to actually break it with the fabric. And I tried and I tested some of the things there previously. So let's see how far I can push it. What could be done with that? Let me see if I have some. Do I have some anatomy references maybe for that? I don't know. Maybe I don't. I thought I had. I really thought I had. Maybe we can just eyeball it and see what's up. Even though I don't like to really work with. I remember that I said that this feels a little too wide for him when I'm looking at the thickness of his hand or his arm, and then I'm extending it. He looks really, really. I don't want to say chubby, but he looks like he's bloated. That's what I see. I didn't see any ad. I have an ad blocker, so just work at your own pace. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. I don't really care about the ads or anything like that. We can definitely disable them. It's just since it's happening to be really big part of all the streaming and everything. They somehow they're trying to, I guess, maintain some control over this, so we turn it into our advantage. Remember actually even previously when we talk about that, even Oreo cookies. So we have this that might look like something that it's broken or bad. It's against us. It's just a different way of looking at it, right? So we can use it into our advantage. But if you have an ad blocker, that's cool. I don't really mind that. It's not like this is, like I said, this is no anything. There's nothing that would be hidden behind the paint walls, paywalls or anything like that. So, so that we can completely disable it if anything. All right, I'm gonna again start with a really annoyingly warm and saturated pigment, maybe a little darker, just a little bit. Not because that's the right pigment, but that's gonna help me to draw into this. But then I don't want to paint and kind of like color in between the lines. By using this kind of a pushed method, it forces me to actually cover that area with the redness. So what I'm trying to do, I have some ideas about how to actually trim it a little bit. To make him slightly less, like a little bit more, a little less bloated, without actually changing that overall shape. Let me just quickly, because I put I was boiling water for tea. So let me just go into this abyss and just grab a water. Right, I am back. My apologies, it's just I forgot. That happens sometimes, especially when I'm involved in painting. I keep forgetting that there are other things around me. And I could maybe push a little bit. That's what we had previously, like a little kind of something, like a little, something a little interesting around here. And maybe I could push this slightly differently. So it would be maybe even this way, because I wanted to show, yeah. So maybe, let me do this. A little bit of this darker value. Nice. And touch of that blue, only because I want to desaturate it a little bit, but not with black. Because black, as it dries, it dries matte, and I want a little bit of that gloss in the shadows. So if I push this right here, like so, and I'm going directly into it, and the reason why I'm pushing it that way, it's because I want to exaggerate that tilt, that lean towards us. So it could go this way. That means that the hand would be slightly in the back, in the shadow, and maybe I could cut this in a little bit. Maybe I could cut that in a little bit. Not necessarily right now, because that's fine. I can always maybe just push it here, and there is not really defined the space that well here. So that might be. I was also thinking that maybe I could push this a little lower, you know, to maybe even till here, to get him, you know, more of that overhang, you know what I mean? Like, because if it's right here on him, and as he moves, then it's trying to, you know, make that kind of a, like gravity, it's being deployed here. Which would kind of push my hand a little bit more here, the other one, a little bit more here. So let me just grab immediately another brush, a larger one, so I can just, or maybe I could use this white here, a little bit of this, a little bit of this, a little bit of this. And you can see, again, I'm trying to go as saturated as possible, only because as the pigment dries, it loses its vibrancy a little bit, and that's not even that big of a problem or issue, rather. But what I'm looking at more, it's the fact that, okay, this might be actually pretty good if it's here, which would push him slightly more that direction, and perhaps I could still add the other side of that card that he's holding. I know it looks weird right now on the painting, but this is what needs to be. I believe that this might actually improve the painting. And then I could actually push this. And I am painting with, not necessarily with lines, but with shapes. And that's also the reason why I decided to use that really strong red pigment because then I have to cover it. I'm not going to be really, you know, like I'm going between the, like I said, between the lines. It's just really, because this is like the idea is that I have a shape. Okay, let's do this. I have a shape like so, right? And I can either paint a lines and then kind of color in between them, or I can immediately go and just paint the whole shape. So my idea is painting the whole shape immediately, because painting, it's not about lines. Painting is about volumes and color and shape and so on and so forth. So that's, I'm sorry, I just got stuck in my own head. And I'm trying to soften this a little bit. Because it was just sticking out too much. It was too much there. And I used it yesterday as a little bit of a help to see the shape properly. And then I'm thinking maybe we could create a larger, bigger, okay, maybe this is gonna be fun. Let's see what's gonna happen there. I need more pigment. So, and I'm again loading my brush with the pigment. But this is not black. I'm still trying to keep it as a color. Hey, Premium Biscuit, good to see you, good to see you. It's okay, I also get stuck when I'm online. Yeah, it happens. It's one of those. Maybe I can push it here even, but then on this shape and this shape, they're starting to get a little too similar. Maybe I could push like a little bit of something here, and then maybe I could give him a opening right here. So I'm trying to create a little bit more like something that's happening specific to his robe or his. I see we reached affiliate status. That's amazing. Oh, thank you, Premium Biscuits. That's awesome. Now I can show you my Twitch live. Oh, thank you. You are awesome. I appreciate it. Yesterday we had a hype train. Since you and Token Princess and DM started that whole shebang with affiliate, it's finally there. So thank you for your support. It's awesome. But it's not mandatory. It's nothing that you have to do because this is, like I said, I want to keep this channel open for all of us, so we can all enjoy together that feeling of, I was talking about digital atelier, shared space. So. I remember you told me your mission statement, which is amazing and admirable. Thank you, I appreciate it. This is not only about me, this is about us. And yesterday we actually a little bit talked about that how difficult it is sometimes to get this setup because you might be like I am in the area where art is not a priority whatsoever. It's like, I don't want to say that it's a completely rural areas, but there are some people that paint in rural areas and can get together with other artists, and this would be a great way to get a little bit more of that. So hopefully it's going to work for us, not against us. So, but you're part of that awesome people that understands that mission statement. So it's humbling, and I appreciate your support. Thank you. Continuing with this, maybe I could push a little bit like no, that might be too much. No, I like it before. So let me just get rid of this. So I resketched it quickly, and you might think like these are kind of a random lines. Well, I am, and why are they there? Because I'm still, and this is something that you might actually use to your advantage, because what I'm doing here right now is to actually painting on top of existing painting. You can do the same thing with the drawing. So if you're trying to correct mistakes, instead of erasing everything when you work with charcoal or graphite or medium that you can erase, instead of erasing everything, I actually paint on top of it, because then I can contrast and compare things in the real time, simultaneously. That's what I'm looking for. That's actually a bad habit that I'm dealing with, or I'm talking about a lot with students, or people that are interested in digital art, because of a Control Z. So they make a line, Control Z, they make a line, Control Z, they make a line, Control Z, and it's always the same spot, right? So I'm trying to show them that, keep the line there and draw another one on top of it. So you can adjust it, and you ask yourself, like, what's the angles and where do you want to go? What do you want to do with that line? So maybe I could push this a little higher. I'm looking at it right now. So I had just a suggestion for a hand right there. This is way too orangey. I understand all these concerns and everything. You're absolutely right. However, I need to have it there. No, it's too, right now he's too skinny. I feel like that he's like he skipped the leg day completely, right? So this is like a huge triangle up there, and then no leg day for him. So I have to adjust that. And also look at the palette. Like, this does not look as orange as right here to me, actually. So I kind of went overboard with that warmth that it's there, which is not uncommon, but it's something that, again, if you pre-mix your pigments, it's going to be easier for you, but then you're going to lose the kind of exploration and the randomness. And I always mix the new pigment, always the new batch, clean the palette and start fresh. Because like I said, you get zoned into it, and this starts to annoy you as your eye. So you feel like this is way too saturated. So you're going to start desaturating, and so on and so forth. So right now, what to do with this, there's a lot of pigment there. I'm going to do a simple thing. I'm just going to scrape it away. And that's it. Because it has nothing to do there. It was a good test. It was a good, what is that meme phrase? It was a educated wish. This was an educated wish. So I felt that it might work there. It didn't. No problem. I'm just going to paint over. I might even wipe it a little bit, but you should be careful with this, because that's gonna that might actually smear the pigment all over the place, and that's something that I don't like. And if you're wiping it, be careful with the paper towel so you don't leave that paper towel like when you rub a paper towel on the canvas, it might actually leave that pieces of paper towel there. So I'm going to move it a little bit more. Maybe I should go slightly lighter. To overcome that. Darkness that I created there. So I'm going there with a different pigment. Maybe it could go even even cooler, and maybe even lighter. Let's see what's going to happen. I'm kind of excited to see what's going to happen if I put something like this there. Maybe a little less, like slightly, something in between. A little bit of this. Okay. Still that arm looks, I think that the reason why I'm doing this is because this hand might be a little too big. I don't know. Let's see. And again, I'm working strictly with just the shape and kind of almost like a random brush strokes. What I think that might be actually beneficial is to put the portrait there, because that might actually determine a lot. Let me also check this guy in behind, or behind him rather, for the main figure. What's happening with him, because I think that he needs a little bit more. He needs a little bit more, yeah. A little bit more information there to separate it from the background, just a touch, compositionally. So we have that feeling of or sensation of an atmospheric perspective. More pigment. Even more. I want to load my brush with the pigment because I'm going to be painting with it for a while. So again, my brush is really like, this is how my brush looks like. You shouldn't even, like, this is really bad. But I need that because I'm going to apply pigment a little bit more. A little more freely, I shall say. And I want that texture feel to it. Maybe just make it even smaller a little bit. And I'm looking for that kind of a something different there. And I like to invent things a lot as I paint, because I really do not like photo references. I have some sketches that I did that are helping me. Maybe this could go lighter here a little bit, so it doesn't feel that much the different. Okay, right now he's starting to be a little bit better. But then also look at this. When it comes to composition and design, this dark triangle against this light triangle, they are exactly the same, and it's making it boring. I don't know if you can see it. I can see it. It's difficult for me not to see it. So I'm going to do something to break that, and I'm going to break it probably for sure with the lighter value. And instead of drawing an arm, the other arm there, maybe I could create like, this is going to be a lighter value here, because the arm is going out from the shadow, and there's a little bit on the other side, right? So it's pushing a little bit more towards him and his body, and maybe change it that way a little bit. And let me hit that arm with a more pinkish, slightly more desaturated, but I should probably go a little bit more, a little darker, right? So I have the same value than this, but this is not as aggressive as it was there, because I want it to still be there, but not necessarily that much, right? Maybe just a little bit. it's enough. Just to give you a better sense of what's happening there. Maybe he could actually go this way with his hand here, like so, so it's bulging that way. Yeah, I think this might work a little better. Like right here. So it makes a little bit more sense. And what I'm trying to do right now, since I know that hands are not actually they can work independently, but in this particular case, if I do something weird with this hand, it's not going to match this one, and it has to be matching because this pole and this pole, they are actually symmetrical, right? So you want to have that symmetry there for this particular painting. Then I can actually maybe throw a little bit of light right here on this arm that I want to paint later on, right? To make it a little bit more visible, not visible, to paint a light on top of it. That might require a little bit more saturation, so I'm mixing it a little bit more saturated. There might be his fingers here, and there might be a hand, let's say, that he's holding that belt that he has right there. Okay, yeah, I think that this might work. And we have that, you see, like the abstract randomness right here. There is a new pigment, there is an old pigment, there is something that I painted yesterday, and so on and so forth. This is just like an abstract painting. And right now I'm gonna be, first time Chad, Dreamer Films. Do you do any horror art? Hey man, good to see you. And Peter, good to see you too, man. Subscribed, another subscribe. Thank you, appreciate it, guys. If I do any horror art, I do all kinds of art. But right now, today, I'm actually finishing the larger project that I'm working on. Is actually 3-piece. Since you're asking, this is more of a continuation. So horror for me, it's already trying to finish this on time. So this is where we're at right now. It's not necessarily, this is actually a specific thing. It's a specific event, a historical event that I work on. I've been working on for a while, so. But we have a Bad Painting Fridays where we do all kinds of characters. Right now we working on Gandalf, and we're kind of having fun. So if you want to join us and paint alongside, it would be awesome. We do all kinds of crazy stuff here. This is actually a kind of a digital shared studio. So this is what I'm not necessarily finishing, but preparing. It's not that far away from to be finished. There is a lot of, right now, just figuring out the smaller things and smaller stuff. I'm working on this figure right now because we decided to add a cart into it. And I said we because there was a long discussion about why that I decided to put it there. Is it going to work compositionally? Is it not? And so on and so forth. So yeah, that's something that it's on right now. And if you're more interested about what's happening here during the streams, I have a library of VODs or videos on demand on YouTube, so you might check that out. It should be like it should be linked. The link should be actually posted there. So let me just reload my brush, or maybe even more. And again, I'm mixing a new pigment because I want that randomness there. I don't want that repetition because I have no idea under which conditions and what was happening during their journey or pilgrimage, even you might call it. So, and I might want to actually maybe change this a little bit. this way, a little bit this way. And let's see if I can maybe throw there another brush. A little bit of this, a little bit of this. This might actually work. And there's going to be a darker value here where the belt is, and then it's kind of sticking out because there are these folds. That's what I'm looking for. And instead of painting it dark or black because it seems like it's a dark shadow, I'm just shifting the saturation a little bit. Yeah, that's way better. That's way better. That's way better. And then I should probably switch this. Yeah, and connect it first and then start disconnecting it. I still have to figure it out how to incorporate that. So there is a shift in the hue a little bit from cooler to slightly warmer, and right now I can actually put some more light on the figure. So let's see what's going to happen if I start adding slightly lighter value. Let me go cooler a little bit. Maybe not even cooler, but less chromatic maybe. I can work with less chroma and then push the chroma again once I get into a light. So I'm gonna do like in between step when it comes to values. Let's push that shoulder a little bit. Okay, and maybe even lighter right now, just to see what's up. Actually, maybe I could push it a little cooler before I get into that light on top of it. So I'm thinking about the shoulder, and this is probably where I want to have the shoulder. The light area, and then the arm is going this way. So I'm softening it. And then maybe we could create like a little bit of a edge right here. Just something a little bit interesting there. And get it a little bit more naturalistic rather than just fully rendered thing. Since we're not working or thinking about this as a for the realistic painting, this is more about a naturalistic painting. And you can see as I'm starting to add these lighter areas there, it's starting to feel that the figure is becoming more and more three-dimensional. More and more three-dimensional. And maybe I could spill that light here a little bit more. And I'm just doing this kind of a scratchy, kind of I don't know how to say that. I'm pushing it a little too abstract, and only because I want to create a specific texture because they used to use a linen, like a heavy linen, kind of a, or hemp even, I think in some areas, to create a fabric, and it was really tough. And I want to show that kind of a material part of that. This piece took how much time in total? It's hard to say because this has multiple other different variations. I don't know, yesterday I was showing that I have a just a second, I'll move it. I have a different sketch, a different variation of this right here, a smaller sketch, preparatory sketch, that is with the figures slightly different oriented, slightly different idea, slightly, oops, you guys not being able to see that. Slightly different area, slightly different color palette, slightly different mood. They look kind of, they are, I mean, the topic is similar. I don't know how to put it so you can see the whole thing. It's difficult. So that will be one part. It also, I have another sketch that is currently on the other wall because I put things on the wall so I can see how they look and I can judge the final result better. And then I also have a different smaller variations and sketches right here. I have some other some other sketch that it's closer to what that is actually a predates this larger painting right now. So it's this one, and it was also changed, and this is more like a, this is just a black and white. So I use this as a reference, and then I can actually put the paint on top of it to make it a little bit more like a color sketch. So I have these, and then I have all kinds of preparatory drawings for the specific figures and their portraits. I work from imagination mostly, so most of these characters are invented out of the head. I don't really use live models for this because it would be just too many people, so I will do like a preparatory paint drawings. Like so, you know, when I want to, how they want to look, what they are holding in their hands, and so on and so forth. So it's just a lot of work behind it. So you might say that the whole project from the first idea, first sketch, might be 2 years, but then this actual painting on and off, it's a half a year probably. And it's all streamed like from almost the beginning, so you can check it. I have a more of a on YouTube there's hundreds of videos there. Actually, those are stream recordings. You've done a lot of work. Can't wait to see your next project from the scratch. Epic workflow. Thank you. I appreciate it. And this is not my workflow. This is something that you would be sooner or later forced to do as well, because you know, when you're working on the portrait, you know how many parts you have there. You have a background, you have a foreground, you have a portrait, you have a hair, ear, right? And you should know all these things beforehand, or not know, but you should observe these things. So imagine how many portraits is here. They have a different clothes, different setup, but they still have to belong to the same environment. And that's probably the most difficult part to do. So when I paint here, and you can see me still moving with my eyes and going back and forth, because when I paint here, whatever small detail that I change here will affect the whole painting. Whether you believe it or not, it will. There's examples like a random brush strokes. I needed something light right here because it kind of flows better with the composition, right? So I'm pushing these things, and that's why I paint abstractly mostly at the beginning, because that's something that helps me to put that underline structure underneath that, free flowing and just feeling my way through. And then I get into that specific things. You see me just really, this has I don't know, like when you look here, this is just completely abstract painting. No one would ever even think of that that's a hand or arm or part of the body. It's just the workflow is out of a necessity. I don't know even how to say it. It's just happened. And I still feel that I didn't do enough because last week or 2 weeks ago, I add a completely new element to this, which is this card. Only because I felt that there is too much of an empty space here. It's just a crazy thing to do. And especially when you work on the smaller scale, there are some shapes that you don't need to care about. Like on my sketch, I don't even know what's happening here. And then when you scale it up, suddenly you have like you can have another small painting right here separately, and so on and so forth. So that's the challenging part, I guess, to fill the blanks. I actually have a lot rough work. I might see them one day and work on them again. And you should. That's what I do. I don't have only one project. I have multiple other projects that are happening simultaneously because I would get really I would get tired of constantly doing the same thing. And it's more like, then it feels that you come to a 8 to 5 job and you 4 hours have to sit behind the table and answer all the calls and all the emails, and then it's the same thing over and over again. If I'm stuck, because not all the time there is a creative day, when I'm stuck, I just relax. I look through the books. I look through my old drawings, and I'm trying to, or go through the mental library, and while exploring maybe problems with this, I can actually get the answers for my other paintings. So I rarely keep a one painting, and you can see that I have still many paintings on the way, only because of this. There are actually two other big projects that I'm working on, or I'm going to work on right after I finish this. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And I like to do allegories. This is an allegory. I guess you could call it allegory. Well, I'm calling it allegory. If you're interested, it's going to be hopefully it's going to happen unless something crazy will intervene. All right. So I'm still not necessarily 100% sure what's happening there, specifically with this area right here. At least it's kind of interesting enough for me to start carving into this. And right now, this is like a pieces of puzzles are already all there. And right now I have to start adjusting them so they fit to each other, or mosaic rather. I prefer to use mosaic than puzzles, because mosaic has multiple pieces the same color that you can use actually, and it's kind of it's a better example for me, or I feel a little bit more confident with that example. I should probably grab another brush because I need that dark value. And I don't want to pollute it with other values. So, and let me maybe go a little warmer, just for fun. This might work, this might be enough. Maybe that's too dark. No, let's see. I am going to push this a little bit, maybe. So I'll show that that's a sleeve right there, or opening for the sleeve. But then it kind of loses that. Okay, let's keep it open for now because I don't think that that's necessary. It's not the most important thing. Perhaps I could actually do this and push that another maybe lower slightly. I'm trying to match these two, how do you call them? The thing that he holds, rides? I don't know. Handlebars? I don't know. But I wanted to say sideburns. I don't know why. That's a word that I don't have a chance to use that much, I guess. So I naturally went to, okay, maybe we can say sideburns. Let me, actually, I'm thinking that maybe I could push this just a little bit to a little bit of that. Kind of like a cast shadow here, and I'm sorry, I'm in the way. I'm working still around on that figure. But I have to change an angle a little bit because I have a glare there. And when you have a glare, it's really difficult to judge values properly because the glare, it's glossy and it's reflecting a lot of light, so it appears lighter than it actually is. So something to keep in mind. Maybe I could put a little bit more of a light right here. Maybe. And then this would be dark. Maybe like this, so, and continue with that arm. This would be the high point, and it's gonna go back into the space just a little bit right there. I'm trying to match that a feeling of that fabric. It's just to get it slightly heavier feel to it. It's not necessarily, I don't think it's mandatory, but I think these textures the textures like this makes difference. And another thing is that it should be lighter right there. So let me go back to that. Wooden part. Have you ever painted for church? That's a great question. Actually, the funny thing is that people are going to come from church tomorrow to check out the painting because somebody leaked this information that I'm working on this, and they want me to. They want to check if this is something that would fit to their ideas. But this is not necessary. Even though these are religious figures, this is not a religious painting. Just to be absolutely honest, it has nothing to do with religion. This is actually a journey. They brought a language to the region where my country is right now, and they're very important for us because with the language they brought education, and I think that education is the number one thing that makes us free. Besides the the obvious. It's more about that journey. And because it's 863 when it happened, only religious people were, not only religious people, but if you are from a village, the only way how to get to education was through a religion. That was the only way. For the longest time. Well, that's amazing. It's an educational painting. It is allegory, and allegory, and I might be again not necessarily might be the best example of allegory, but this is a painting that uses or actually works with actual existing. It does not need to be existing because we don't know what was happening. That's why I like this subject so much. there is very little information about them, and all of them are just I don't want to say random things, but we cannot verify whether or not that's true. So there is a lot of space for me and also for a viewer to interpret this painting the way that you want, which is something that I really like about paintings and images in general. And it's very well known story for every person in my country, or in this region actually, because it involves not only me, but it's also surrounding countries and south of the Europe or Balkans and also east. It's just a very important historic event. But for me, like I said, the journey is important, and it's just kind of a. I like to think that they came here and they brought us language. And I don't know what would they say, how we are butchering it right now. And I'm not saying that, you know, my pronunciation in English and so on and so forth, but mostly, you know, they traveled so far away from their home to bring education, only to just distill this to a few comments on famous. And I'm not talking about you guys. I'm talking about these, you know, like insulting comments. This is more about the discourse than anything else. So it's a lot of philosophy in that, my own philosophy or my own feelings and ideas. So, but I don't like to talk about it that much because I want you to find your own story in that journey, because probably you were at one point either trying to get somewhere or coming from somewhere, or you already arrived and right now there is that difficult part to actually make it happen. So, and you can be any part of this. And whenever I come to studio with some outside viewers or some people or patrons or collectors, they're always like, oh, this person looks like this, that person that did this. And it's just, you might think about this as a one person being in a different stage of that journey. But they just create a group. So you can be any one of them as you please. I'll add started. And there's ads that are running right now. So we're going to take a short break. Remember to refresh your eyes and just move a little bit throughout the process of creating, because you can get quickly, not necessarily stiff, but also, you know, like neck pains and all that kind of stuff. So, and especially if you work on the larger paintings, it requires a lot of stamina. So, short break. I'll be right back. Okay, so I hope you really took a break a little bit. I made myself a fresh tea. I'm also going to check that painting right now with my mirror. So I'm looking for the reflection, so it's upside down right now, because I'm checking for the symmetries and problems with composition and so on and so forth. And I think that I'm pushing it a little too low. Yeah, I'm pushing it a little too low. So you see, like right now, I think that this is in the wrong spot. I had the feeling, my eye just kind of picked up on that kind of quickly. These are things that you're gonna get used to it. The more you paint, the easier it's going to be to recognize these things. So it does not, it's in the perspective, and I don't want to go into complicated perspective rules and so on and so forth, but to keep that kind of a feeling of symmetry, this is actually this is too low and pointing towards the wrong direction, right? And since it's a foreshortening, it's even more challenging to put it and make it symmetrical. Another thing that I'm going to do is actually, and this is something that I do very often, rotate my canvas. Oops. This needs to go up. Rotate my canvas towards the different directions. This is just going to hold it for a while. Because this is not for painting necessarily, I'm trying to observe. And this is easier for me right now if it's upside down or left and right. I have a mirrors in the back. I use a small mirror to always check on that. And you can't see it, I'm sorry. I'm just going to raise the camera a little bit so you have a better understanding of what's happening. So I have it upside down right now. If you work digitally, it's a little easier, and you should do it all the time to check your painting from a different, like rotate it all the time, because this helps me to, and I can see right now immediately the problem with the symmetry. So this is going this way, this needs to go slightly different angle. So I actually use the symmetry, but not in a linear perspective, but it feels almost to me like that's that ortho perspective. What's the ones that they use in architects use that a lot. Orthographic, I think it's the name of that. So I need to change this shape a little bit this way. Yeah, and maybe I could give it maybe it could go even further out. I don't know, maybe till even here. Let me see if this is going to work. It might. Let's see. Orthographic, yeah, that's what I'm not sure if that's the right word. I'm trying to, because this is something that I'm not necessarily that I'm not familiar with, a language that they use, and I mean architects right now, it's not the one that I use. I know about palette knives and mediums and pigments and so on and so forth, and they have these, different ways to describe, but I think that it's called orthographic. Let me double check that, and just so I don't. Orthographic drawing, yeah. It's a special. It's for designers, or I don't. It's for blueprints and for when you're creating drawings that can go into a production. I don't know how to. how to describe it better. And I'm going to use this a little bit because I want to create, I'm thinking about that perspective, and this is going to be really annoying because I'm overlapping another. I'm overlapping another, and right now it's too thick. So right now I'm not painting anything specific. I'm just looking at shapes and how to adjust them. So that illusion, it's not illusion of three-dimensional space on two-dimensional surface. It's not broken. So let me wipe this off a little bit from there. The angle is not right, so angle has to be right. Angle and angle. So let's push this a little bit more this way. Okay, better. And it could go all the way. Problem is with this value right here that it was too dark. So it kind of bonds, it was kind of melting together. And then that's there, so that should work. And also the lower part needs to be adjusted right now. So I have to get a little bit more of that. Okay, and right now width, so I can be, okay, width is correct. Cool, so we have that sorted out there. I think that right now we're good. The question is how much I'm going to push it. A hand on the other side. Maybe a little bit more, let's see. Does it have to be that much? I don't think that it has to be that much. Yeah, that might be too much. Well, maybe not. I don't know. Maybe a lighter value here. A bit more saturation. And it's going this way and then around. Like so. Well, that might actually work. But then I have to get a way lighter value right here on the top. Okay. Lighter, and it shouldn't go into green, it should go a little bit more towards the purplish pigment. That might be enough. And the reason is because this outside edge right here, it's next to a green, and I want to create a lighter shape there. So his hand is kind of coming outside of that shadow from the side, or from behind rather. And then there will be a little bit of shadow right here and maybe around right here. And soft transition. So he's coming up from there, and maybe I could flare this out a little bit more. Maybe even close this. So it matches the other side because it's flaring too much, but I like the shape right here, what's happening there. So we have two hands, he is correctly positioned, I'm moving a little bit forward. Maybe I could push that light right. We sometimes flip the drawing like mirror it completely. Yeah, I do the same thing, and not always because I use I'm not always have to flip the mirror, flip the canvas, because I have if I need to just double check quickly something, I have a mirror reflection. This is flipping it horizontally, and then at the end of the studio I have a large mirror. You can't really see me right now, but I would be looking like this the other direction because I have a mirror reflection, which would be a vertical flip as well. But then when I need to correct something and I paint, instead of for me like holding a mirror like this and painting, I'll just flip the canvas, because that's the easiest way for me to see and correct things. Because I'm not looking for specific things. I don't care where the portrait is upside down, laying or whatever. It's still a portrait. I'm looking for a composition and compositional adjustments, because composition is the driving force for any other adjustments. For me specifically. I'm not saying that you have to do it that way. There is not right and wrong way to do it. This is what helps me, and it kind of helps my thinking process. And I can tell that this is just too forced, too ugh is the word. Maybe I could flip this and push it a little bit more towards this more saturated blue and purple on the other side. The same thing that I did with the sleeve, because I need a little bit more difference here. I want to put this into a shadow. Maybe it could go this way. I don't know. Well, maybe. Well, we'll see. And then we could create a little bit of a folds, just a little bit. I have to put these brushes down because I'm starting to smudge everything around. Okay, cool. So we're right here. Maybe this could be a little darker. Might be slightly in the shadow, okay? So that will give me a chance to bring the light on the top of that pole. And I can really go crazy maybe even, because it's going to be easier for me to make it less saturated than the other way around. So there is going to be a top plane right here, and I'm going to soften it. And it's easier for me to, because I'm painting wet into wet. So it's giving me a little better. Okay, I think that they're going towards the right direction. Well, I don't know. Kind of a weird feeling about that. Maybe a little bit of a reflected light, and maybe just show a little bit fingers underneath, just a touch. Maybe here, just just a little bit. So it seems like he's holding it, and same as these fingers are wrapping around that, I want a similar thing show right here, maybe not even the full thing. And then perhaps actually I can get rid of this. Let me load the brush with the pigment. Maybe I could throw this into a shadow so I don't see his full hand. Maybe just because maybe it's a cover. Yeah, that's better. Maybe it's a little bit of a little covered in the back, and also this is too much here. It needs to go darker and a little bit more greenish because I want to do like a little bit of a, it's reflecting into his skin there. So when I want to divide certain things, yeah, perfect. Okay, so this is going to push that hand a little bit more into a background connected. I want a soft edge right here. There's no reason for hard edges anywhere here because they are that's not that important. Okay, so right now it almost died and blended with the background. That's fine. That's not a problem because again I can bring it up with a lighter value or more chromatic rather. And let's make it cooler. Even more maybe lighter because I already have a lot of pigment there, so I'm playing with existing pigment. So the pinkish plus that little bit of orange should give me a nice kind of a lighter hand value. It's just the shape of the hand is not right now. Okay. So I guess this has to be here, finger, because then it's just not going to make sense. So the finger has to be in front of that. And this can be just shape in the back. Perhaps the thumb could help. Yeah, thumb would help. It's going there and then here up into the hand, like so. And this could be dark. That's the dark sleeve that's wrapping around. And I'm going to use a little bit of that sleeve wrapping around to incorporate it there. Make a slight separation. Okay. All right. And maybe it should go down this way. The arm. Yep. A little better. It's not the ideal to paint this way, but since, like I said, I'm working from imagination and I feel confident with rotating these things, these objects in my head, no matter which direction, I don't really mind to use both, like to rotate it left and right. And I'm thinking right now, and I was talking about this the last time, that I need to figure it out, or last stream, that I would like to place that another foot down there, but I'm not sure which direction I want that foot to go. Do I have some anatomical references here? I would like to have some. Maybe I don't. It's probably the most difficult part for me, to make sure that I have that randomness in what's the word that I'm looking for? So I have that feeling of natural progress as they walk, and I don't have the repeating shapes, because that's going to destroy that feeling of it's going to composition is going to get boring by repeating the same thing over and over again. So I have to figure it out how to do certain things differently. I will have to invent that foot as well, and that's it's just it's not really the best thing, because feet are really difficult to paint and draw, for that matter, as well. Well, I found them. I find them extremely challenging, actually. I guess we just eyeball it, right? And we'll go with fake it till you make it. I don't know. Let me see some anatomy references. And I'm using a tablet with the PDF files of anatomy books and sketches and so on and so forth. So, and then also I really, really like to use Pinterest a lot. It's my #1 doom scrolling app when it comes to painting, or in general, actually. Maybe I could use this. Maybe I could just use some of yeah, Pinterest. You had you had the same thing for the Pinterest. Yeah, it's kind of I don't want to say that it's weird, but it's something that I didn't even realize how much time I spent with with Pinterest, and then not satisfied with that, so I'm just pushing it slightly different direction. Slightly better. I think this is slightly better. I don't know. We'll see when I twist it back if it fits to a whole composition. But while I'm on the topic, what I'm doing right now, I'm looking for that for a foot, and the reason why I'm looking for a foot is because I want to correct one specific thing. And that's that the foot in the top left corner. Which annoys the hell out of me. Because it's a It's an outside leg, and it kind of disappears, and that's fine, but I want to give it a little bit more. So let's push it with this brighter pigment. Let's see what's going to happen if I push it this way. Oops, canvas, work with me, don't fall down. And then perhaps, maybe I could go over right here to make it completely brighter. And what I'm doing right now, I am actually color harmonizing it, if that even makes sense, because it was kind of dull, and I was looking at his portrait, his other hand. This one I want to keep dull because I'm going to push this a little bit more later on, like make it a little lighter. That's fine, that's cool. And I don't want to have two same hands next to each other. But what I'm looking at is that direction, the composition. So I have these light values that actually create implied lines, which helps that composition to be a little bit more diagonal. So I'm gonna keep that in mind while I do this. Maybe I could even push it maybe even harder. And let's see if this would work, actually, since I'm on that topic. Maybe I could push this a little bit more here to help that composition. All right, so I'm pushing that light value there. Yeah, that might actually work. Well, I'll see when I twist it. So I'm not sure. But the beauty of painting and oil paint is that I can do whatever I want. And I can always paint it back, repaint it. I'm not afraid of, like I don't have a precious part of the painting that it had to be, you know, protected in all costs. If I don't like something, it's just gonna go. And let's say like what I hate right now, it's, check this out. And I still coming back to this edge, the outside silhouette of this figure copies the same direction than this, and that's big no-no, because this one looks like a snake that goes through it. It breaks that feeling of three-dimensional. So I have to figure it out how to change it and switch it a little bit. Perhaps that's another thing that I have to. And this has nothing to do with actual figures or hands or anything like that. That's a pure pure aesthetical thing. Pure aesthetical thing. And maybe I feel like it should hit the big grass should go over also this direction here that I painted there. So let me see if I can throw that in the mix, since I need a clean white and a little bit of yellow, maybe a bit of this. You might think that, oh, this is going to ruin the painting. Well, it might. I don't deny that, but for now I'm thinking about the composition. So I have this direction, so let me push it more this way. There might be something there. Oh, I know what I was doing. Okay, I wanted to bring this to more attention. His not rope, but the little. Okay, so that will help. That's nice. That will help. Let me push this a little bit more straight. So it's kind of crossing his path as well. A little bit of that grass, and it would nicely work with this. A little bit right here. A little bit right here. That might actually work pretty well. And then also it has to be here through this, because I really hate that wheel being so specific. I want to make it a little bit more belonging to that environment, and right now it's sticking out too much to my liking. Okay, let's look at that foot again. Maybe I could push, and this could go. I could maybe put this into a shadow as I planned, as it was my plan. So let's think of that shadows and reflections. So that would be, it should be warm, it should be cool, but since there is a lot of light there, I'm going to push it with kind of a greenish, so it fits into these. Yeah, and I can create a anatomy, and then maybe I could make it this way a little bit more. Let's see if this is going to work. It would be all the way here, fingers, and this might actually go up just to create a little bit more interest. I'm thinking that this might be just that foot might be tad too small, perhaps, but let me push this right here as a finger that's going this direction. Then it has a top part, yeah, and it's going to go this way. So that's one finger there. I could do another one and another one. Starting to get a little chunky, no worries, that's fine. Maybe even lighter. So I'm gonna grab that pigment that I was using for a grass, but it's okay because I already have a pigment there, so I can start incorporating it there a little bit, so I can make better. And you can see right now that high contrast, how it leads your eye into that direction. That's the kind of an implied line. And I needed to do this in order to keep the composition flowing. Perhaps I could put him the same thing, the little, and you can see that it doesn't really work there that much because there's a light value there. So maybe this might not be a good thing, but let's see. He's also going to have that. Maybe it's going to go this way, like so. So I'm giving them a little bit more detail. Not necessary, not mandatory, but this will kind of make your painting a little bit more richer in terms of environment that they are in. Not necessarily more expensive, not at all, but it's going to make for a richer environment. Maybe a little bit more, maybe a little darker. Maybe this should go right now slightly darker. And what I'm thinking about right now is that I need a little bit more of a occlusion light. A little bit of occlusion. And that's the darkest spot. That's the place where sun doesn't, not necessarily shines, but doesn't even reflect. And I could maybe I could push his toe this way right here, then up, and then this would be his. No, that's too much, man. What are you doing? What are you doing? That's crazy. Yeah, that is crazy, but maybe not. Maybe it is not crazy. Maybe I just need to do this. I will push the pinky. It's not the pinky, it's like a small, is that the smallest toe? And I have another one and another one and the third one here. That looks really weird. That looks extremely weird. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Just too much. Let me just erase this. But this could actually work. I think this could be okay. There's be a transition, softer transition into a foot, into a heel, and maybe I could push this slightly redder because that's like the pressure that we put on a lot. So that might be even bulging out a little bit as his foot is on the ground. That might work. And then as it goes towards us, I think it should go this way. This way, and then up into here. While making his foot really, really big. Never mind. I can cut in and open it here. That means that I need a slightly greener and way lighter, actually. I have to mix the outside pigment here because it's just too much of that occlusion that I put there, and I'm trying to push it. Maybe even here a little bit. All right, and it's going to go this way here, and this is where the end is going to be. Yep, a little better. Perhaps I could push this way, all the way here, so I have that. Yep, and this can be broken a little bit. Yep, nice, better. Yeah, I think it works better right now. I'm not sure. So that foot needs way more love than it's receiving right now, but it's okay because right now it works as a shape, but it's starting to kind of work together. I can feel the pressure. I can feel the weight on that foot. So it actually might work, strangely. Another thing that helps me to actually, when I paint these things, having it upside down, I'm focusing more on the shape than the actual foot. So it's kind of and it shows you that from a different angle. So no matter which way you rotate it, it still has to be foot. It still has to look like a foot, right? It can't be anything else. So it's kind of a cool thing. Maybe I could continue working with that. Like maybe create maybe not necessarily, I don't know, would it be a basket that he's carrying? I guess because it would be lighter, right? They probably wouldn't carry a something heavy. I think. I might be wrong. So could it be, yeah, we can make it, it doesn't, I could make it out of a, out of a branches. I don't know, it's it's wood, but it's lighter than actual, like if it would be like a solid wood. But it wouldn't be able to hold any liquid part, but I don't care about that much. So let me see if I can throw something there. Something like what would be the texture? Or how to describe that texture. I can maybe push a little darker value here as a ridge. It's like a little shadow. And maybe it could be slightly darker here as well. They might be way too dark. It needs to be lighter. And more saturation. Lighter and more saturation. Okay, that's probably very close to the same pigment, but that's fine. So there's a little edge right there, and it's starting to be a little bit more three-dimensional. The question is whether or not he's carrying something in there. Fruits. I just want to put something really, really red there, so it's going to be, it has to be something red. I don't know. It might be something, I don't know, whatever that would be. So let's just think of something that is reddish. That's okay. Let's put it there. That's going to be funky. Like something here, and then maybe something poking there. He is carrying something, yeah. Just going to punch it a little bit. The reddish hue there. It's going to work nicely against that green, so it's just a contrast part, right? I just wanted to show the difference that there is, it's not empty, because why would he carry the empty thing, right? So maybe maybe I can throw some mushrooms in there, or something, I don't know, something a little bit more interesting. But as it is right now, it's okay if it's going to be like it's just, we don't need to even know what that is. I just threw some random brush strokes there, and that's it. That's more than we need to actually, it could be like maybe here, like a little darker values. And you're gonna think that that's something, you know, some sorts of something. Berries, who cares? Who cares? So that's another point right there. And what I'm missing right now really are to get the hand better. This one, because right now that's annoying part. And then I'll get into a portrait. And then I start doing a little bit more of that grass. I think that's kind of what's in my mind. But unfortunately, it's almost 4, and I have to switch to another. I have to end up a stream. I have to switch to a private lesson. So I have to reset, so I can't really continue. But there is a lot of work done today. I'm kind of surprised myself, since and not necessarily a lot of work. There was a lot of decisions. So, and I think that they were, what did I think? I'm sure that they were. Right now we'll see what happens when it gets together and what needs to be adjusted. So let's see. Halt. Is it going to halt? Oops, no, it won't. let's see. Okay, I think it's okay for now. It's going to serve the purpose. A little closer so I don't have a gap there. Here students will be waiting. Well, that's since they know that I'm working on this and I have a lot of other stuff happening, the foot, it's too big, but that's okay. I'm pretty sure that I can deal with that fairly quickly. But yeah, it's just pushing the right direction. And right now this needs to go way lighter. So let's put the light on top of that, this handle right here. So I can make so it's different from the background. Slightly different from the background. Okay, that might be a little too much, but that's okay, that's fine. Yeah, my students, they know that sometimes I just get carried away while painting. So like exactly right now. But it's important because I'm continuing with a thought, right? So I can't really stop the thought in the middle. I wish I could, but I can't. I tried that multiple times, and maybe I could even push it here. A little bit more light right there. Maybe, I don't know. I'll have to figure it out how to reconnect that. But it's fine. That's fine right now. So yeah, but I don't want to purposely let them wait. So thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for a few new subscriptions. I really appreciate it. It makes me feel extremely humble. It's humbling actually for how much you know, just to. I can't even really describe how much this means to me, and I'm glad that we're on the same page with what I'm. I started it, but you know, it cannot be created without us participating. So please continue with that awesome discussion with that creative discourse. You know, if you want to, you can join us on Discord, because then we have a little bit more chat there and exchange more and more information, even behind the scenes. There's announcements there that I'm trying to put. It's all in the testing stage, so let's see how it's going to continue. And yeah, it was a great day today. There's a lot of things happened, and a bunch of things didn't work. That's okay. That's the process of elimination for me, and actually even for my head. Just quickly for tomorrow, tomorrow should be like a bad painting Friday, but since the group of people are going to come to studio, check out that painting and see what's up. I might postpone that, not even postpone, but maybe delay a start. I don't know how long it is going to take. There's going to be probably more than an hour, so I might start with the bad painting Friday at 2 p.m. Central European time. But it's not 100%, so I can't really promise that. And I am planning on continue with the Gandalf character idea that we started, which is based on the requests, and something to relax, something to have fun a little bit, instead of being like so pressured. I have to do this, I have to do that because of a commission, and it's just a relaxing type of stream. And I encourage you to join me and join us actually for that Bad Painting Friday, because everything goes. There is no, I am making most ridiculous things there, and they're not working. Those are just experiments, and I want to get you a little bit more comfortable with making these mistakes, because I know that was probably the biggest hurdle that I had, not being able to just repaint things, move things around freely with the brush, because oh my god, I draw it there, and right now, trust me, if you could draw it once, the second time is going to be only better. That's how it is. If you play one song and then you play it again, and then you play it again, and then you play it again, no matter what, it's getting incrementally better, right? So somehow I understand this, or I used to understand. I understood this in music. I couldn't relate to a painting. It was just a pain after pain after pain of not being able to move things and shift things. And I decided to include the Bad Painting Friday because I need more of that exploration. I need a little bit more of that brush bravura, throwing a pigment based on that first impulse, that emotion, and then trying to find the way how it fits to a design and a composition, or how to create a shape. And this is not my idea. This is something that painters used throughout the history, including a Rembrandt. And I always talk a lot about the Rembrandt. Today I almost didn't mention him, but Rembrandt, Vermeer, Velázquez, Caravaggio, Titian. It's just Goya. Those are always never-ending discussions, and actually that creative discourse that it's right here. So thank you for joining me. It was awesome today. Like I said, I try to be here tomorrow. If not, I try to postpone it. And if that doesn't work, then there's always another day to paint the Gandalf, which I really, really want, because I said that I want to paint Gandalf for myself specifically. Right, so like really, really something that I would hang on my wall. I mean, this is a similar thing, but the fact that I have a really small apartment, this painting wouldn't even fit through the door probably, right? Not even I don't even have a wall that big. So this is more about, this is for different environment. So yeah. Let's see what's going to happen tomorrow. It was a pleasure to paint alongside you guys. I hope that you had a successful painting session, and let's see what's going to happen next. Thank you. Take care. Bye. And also, yes, more master copies on the way. That's awesome. So we can do some master copies, because that's something that I like. That's just a a little, because I just sit down behind the computer. I'm sorry, when I start talking, it's hard for me to read as well. So yeah, definitely. See you later, guys. Stay cool. Bye.